Okay. Hello, everyone. Here. Yeah. So today we have special event with a very interesting topic about technical debt and how we can work with it or do not work with it and try to find more fun out of it and how you can communicate with the customer manager. And I suppose you don't know me. This is first time here on the stage in Andersen. I have been here in IT for a long period of time. I've played different roles. Started as a software developer, played as an engineering manager, software architect, solution architect. Have different hobbies. You might find me in social networks like LinkedIn, other parts. Um, yeah, that's why I think I have some kind of a background to talk about technical debt, what I think about it, how I implemented it, and how we like drive to excellence. The process of managing it, like fixing it, and so on. Today's agenda, we're gonna walk through what technical debt is. Uh, Mostly for you to bring into the topic how it works here, how what I want to talk about, some kind of cases I have, like what happened in my life, right? Then we jump into the method itself with two parts of it is identification and planning. Ending up tips and tricks that mostly a continuation of the process of the method, but they come alongside their core. And in the end, we'll try to like work through the solution to these cases in point two, how it can be done or how you would work with it using this method, like an examples. So, but you know me a bit, but I'd like to learn a bit you more. How many developers here? Please raise your hand. Oh yeah, the most. Any managers? Nobody care. Maybe there is people who like a tech lead or a software architect. They don't care. Of course, that's fine. This is for you. I will deal with managers and architects and maybe for customers. Actually, this is mostly for you. This is fine. Then I think the second question will be how many of you actually work with technical data, like faced it? Okay, a lot of part of it. And who has like good story how you dealt with that? Uh, I'm really sorry, guys. Yeah, there is some kind of trouble here. That's maybe why you are here. So if there will be someone who had this story, maybe you will share. Anyway, let's overview what technical debt is. There is lots of definition. Like you may find like dozens of them, maybe more. I myself prefer the shortest one. Is like technical debt is everything that is not perfect enough. But here in this slides, I will work with some more longer version of it. Like we talk about additional work, of course. That may appear if you use follow some limited or easy way, right? Uh, then you may find you may do it like deliberately or like maybe you don't know how to do this, or maybe your qualification doesn't do this, or maybe there's some limitation in infrastructure, some other constraints. So that's where this technical decision come. Like we may even say like that the customer doesn't allow you to use proper solution. It also may be resulted in technical debt, of course, because the not easy way is to convince customer to use the other approach, right? Which is that's where the technical debt come, and we all decide like this kind of limitation, right? It exists everywhere. We don't pay a lot of attention to that until it shut us to black. We got injured and want to fix it now. After this all years working with technical debt, I find that the most important principle here is feature development shouldn't and technical debt shouldn't interfere with each other. So these two parts mostly come every day, but either feature development dominate over working on the technical debt, or vice versa. It depends on who wins in this fight, you and your manager or customer. And like you need to make this decision what you follow. But this is not, it shouldn't work this way. It should like negotiate or somehow work together. But nobody actually telling you how it can be done. Mostly this is combination somewhere in the middle, like to ignore things or do not tolerate things. Or of course, nobody actually do zero tolerance to technical debt. It is not feasible enough. Or you maybe work in R&D project where you simply do everything that you want to. And like I know one person who was the director of R&D project with only seniors, and this was a startup that haven't ended anyhow. If you had this experience, you're the lucky one. But on other cases, you need to have a trade-off where these two strategies is kind of opposite things, and in the middle is combination when you tolerate it or not, right? So let's try to analyze what happens if we ignore technical debt or we do not tolerate it at all. So starting with ignoring things. This is kind of simple analysis showing you that there is some kind of difference between these two approaches and like how it comes. First of all, if we're talking about ignoring things, that one day it will block further development. This is no way you cannot do anything like, oh, it really costs a lot. Of course, if it will increase further development in the future one day, because like there is some additional legacy code or not proper solution for you to work on, so it will like you need to support here, 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 and here, or you need to like double or triple your work to implement new feature. That's where it comes. Everybody knows this. The last one, everybody knows that if you have really bad solution in production and it is not a development phase support, it will increase cost, like cost of support, because you need to find the bug, you need to fix it, and you fix it in several places, and so on and so on. Maybe there is a technical debt regarding logging, so you cannot find this bug, where it comes, etc. Let's think about this one, because no articles in the internet I have tried to search the dark side of working on technical debt. Everybody's saying why it's good. But actually, if you work on a technical debt, it blocks development. Because you're not developing things, you develop like fixing, like you know, like, what have you done? Like what have you working in like for like 6 hours? Oh, I'm fixing technical debt. It's just like, yes, refactoring, yeah. Yes, 8 hours refactoring, 3 days. Of course, it increased cost of the development because you like want to fix one thing, but now you're like, okay, I'm a good guy. Well, we found the technical debt, I need to fix it, right? Because like I follow Boy Scout approach, right? I'm working here, I should be better than it was. You want to check here because this is everyone that's like really proud of working on technical debt because it actually won't increase cost of support, right? Because you'll leave the perfect solution there. So this is fine, everybody knows, but these two things are actually not something that everybody think about it, because like this is not how you can sell it to the manager, right? They don't want to have. But on the other hand, they don't know that mostly the same. The other thing is what managers like. They like KPIs. They really want to measure things. And so one day I had this conversation with the manager. He said, like, okay, you have this strategy, technical debt. Well, we want reports. Like, what kind of reports? Like, how many technical debts you found? Like, how many things exist here? Like, how many hours you spent? Like, how it help you? Like, we will spend hours to measure it, and then you like put it on your, I don't know, widget somewhere, and you see like it works, and then what, right? Technical debt acts like I don't know, bugs, right? So you find it, like it scans like SonarQube found your code smells, and next day it finds and oh, you won't found it, but most of the technical debt you find not by an automated tool by yourself. So you're people, you're human, you are limited, and you may find it or may not. And then like requirements changes and the solution that was like good enough, it's not good enough right now. So it won't scale for any cases. Like you found that you will have not 100 users, but 10,000. So it is not scale anymore. So it's really critical. So it gets technical debt and it becomes much more secure. So that's why KPI doesn't work. Or it maybe work different ways, so we'll find out on the end. Okay, so the developer know things. This is always like what you need to do is choose between these two parts, like as I said, the combination, what to take and what you shouldn't take to the development phase. We'll try to answer this question in the planning part, but now let's try to analyze how it looks like from the manager perspective. There is tasks to do. Like if you take it or not, anyway, you will develop feature, right? So, but if you take it, like you will take something more, or even more, like manager doesn't know, like you're saying, like I want to fix this technical that it exists here for ages, and like it's a pain in the ass. We need to fix it. Yeah, maybe more. I don't know how much hours it will take. Like it's just like a possible deadlock. It appears like every 2 days, and who spend days or weeks trying to fix deadlocks, they know. But only these two parts are actually value for the manager, for the customer, and this part is not. We just spend more and more on that, and we'll just keep it here. Like it doesn't look fair, right? Somewhere in the left, something on the left exists. Nobody talk about this, and we'll try to find what exists here on the left side in planning part, right? But let's concentrate on what exists here. So as I said, this is feature, this is technical debt. They shouldn't interfere. About how we can work with them together so they can trade off. This is the main question. How much technical debt can be taken? And to understand it, the blue part here is what gives value, and the lower part is doesn't. And it mostly goes to lean software development that actually exists much more like they are dinosaurs, you know? Lean software development is something goes to lean manufacturing that exists here for ages, even older than Kanban, MVP, everything was invented somewhere in the middle of 20th century, like before IT started, actually. So that's why I really like it. It works. So we should think about value, how it works with value. And lean in things like they have this lists, like lots of articles, of course, like describing things. On the left, it is principles, and on the right, this is waste. And every article that tries to work with technical debt, they mostly work with these parts. Maybe sometimes they work with something more, but they don't try. Of course, like the most thing is we need to empower the team. Team should decide about technical debt to be taken, right? This is the most thing. Like we shouldn't wait. We should fix it. Like otherwise, more things will come and we will take more extra features. But yeah, of course, we need to manage it somehow, not to take in more features into the sprint or iteration. If you like, we'll try to cover these things much more. This is what matters, and it will bring you the way how you can optimize. This is how I measure that the method works much better because it will eliminate other parts that doesn't bring value at all, or maybe bring, but it does not. This is really hard to convince customer manager to take it. The cases. The first is like everybody have this situation when we face technical debt in your pull request, and you need to work with it somehow. I face it every time I started the project as a developer, a key developer. Team lead say to me, "Okay, you do this pull request, you know." We don't work like that. So you introduced this part, so you're working with the legacy component. So please fix it. And this is part that's something that you haven't done properly. The next thing is there is conversation exists in most good projects, I would say, good teams, when we're talking about allocating some amount of team capacity, working on technical tasks, let's say, or working on technical debt. Exactly. Then sometimes we need to analyze the full component, like to say, manager, I want to work on this like technical debt and component, right? So it's really bad how much time it takes. Oh, please analyze how many like tasks you have here. And you should go to component, analyze everything. So go back, say to him like, we need to have this. Oh no, no priority, severity, all this stuff. So this conversation is really, really boring. And then you need to decompose tasks. Like I really like half a year work on a technical debt. I had it 3 times. 2 times it was working on decomposing monolith to microservices. Yeah, this is funny, but who pays for that? They are not taking fun out of it. They want to feel this, fix this anyhow. And the last one is, yeah, I had the situation. This was really a nightmare when we stopped our releases for a month, just because one architect was so proud of disassembling one key component, and we simply cannot release it with new features, and there is no way. Trouble was actually with combination with trunk-based development and this guy who disassembled it. The method. Before we start, I want to put the slide with when we're facing technical debt, just additional information about it. We may face technical debt that introduced previously somewhere in the past. This is kind of philosophical approach. And we may face it just when we did it, like in pull request. We also need to use this method for this case, of course, and somewhere in the future, if you are good in technical design or you're working at a team, you discuss what you want to do, and then implicitly or explicitly you decided to work in take the easier approach to do something. So you haven't introduced technical debt yet, but it will be. What we want to talk today is coding, testing, scope analysis, task decomposition, and estimation, because people, they are mostly the same as for development. Actually, you will code the same thing, you will refactor the same and test it. Like scope analysis, everything takes the same thing. And I shouldn't quote books that touches this topic. We will talk about different things, about ownership. That's where the gap comes. Because product owner own features, but who owns technical debt? They say, we need to empower team, but there is no tool. Let's work on the technical debt the same way as product owners work on features. We need to identify them because features come from market, technical debt come from your work, from your code, and we need to plan them. So this is 2 parts of the method, and I will give exact flow how to do this. First is identification. It comes with part or idea from time management, getting things done. When I need to track all ideas, all things that come to my mind. So I shouldn't work on them, but I need to track them. And what should I do when I have no reason to work on it right now? This is the first thing. And we can answer this question if we ask the next one is, what team loses if I won't do anything? So the miracle of our brain is actually that brain actually did this work. It finds this technical debt. You already did this, and you already produced this value, but it is not recorded, and nobody know about this. And by the way, actually, customer pays for this, for your work on finding this technical debt. But if you won't put it anywhere, nobody will know about existence of this technical debt, your thoughts about it, severity, and how it should be fixed. Maybe you have some thoughts, and of course the place. And these things already exist. Maybe not everything, and you need to put it somewhere. So of course you may put it to do comment, or maybe you can create a ticket in your task tracker and share with the team. Of course, maybe you won't share with the team, but just say, okay, there is no exist in task tracker. Most interesting thing is I had lots of arguing about where it should go to-do comment, task tracker. The trouble is why we shouldn't use both. Because code is the best place where you can track exact place. Actually, yeah, this is only a source of truth where the technical data exists. That's why SonarCube shows you not just simply like we have a bug, like exact place where it is, an explanation. Explanation comes with additional environment, which can be the task and task tracker. And we need to have them both because you need to have one place for tasks, also referencing to getting things done, where you need to have one inbox. Right, so how you can do this? Okay, so when you face the technical debt, you won't work on it. Then you share with the team and create technical debt task in Jira or other task tracker you need to put everything that you find useful, and then to do comments in your code with this reference to Jira ticket. So you have now both dimension tracking because you can find by the name of the Jira ticket in the code and vice versa. It gives you freedom to track it at the place where you track every task. In the other hand, you will have exact place in your code. This is controversial, of course. Many people don't like to do so. But if you don't like it, why all IDEs has special window for checking them? Maybe because it's useful. For sure, this is something that you need to discuss with the team, but this is reasoning, navigation. But what the type of issue is? I mentioned previously, I found the most closest issue type is bug, and this is the reason why. I think that you will put it where it is, the background, like the information about this technical that, like why it exists, like everything that you knew, actual result, like what you have, expected result, guys, you see like how it's really close to bug, severity, of course, and impact, possible impact. Maybe you don't know, like you may see like, oh God, like this is so bad, and another person say, no, this is not a bad, like it will just impact partially, but what you shouldn't do. And I saw lots of examples, people doing this, doing a lot. First of all, no priority. You're not QA person, of course, and you shouldn't know about difference between priority and severity. But priority is something that product owner work with. This is related to features. It differs from one sprint to another. Severity doesn't differ from sprint, like what product owner wants to do. No exact work to do. As I said, we shouldn't think about work because it will change. Like if you have a plan to delete the component in 2 months, like before this 2 months, you should do one thing. After this 2 months, another. If you will analyze and provide exact work to fix, like to do, then you will have learning waste because you need to analyze it again. That's why you have no estimation. Like if you have estimation, so maybe you have estimation for bugs, like you have a bug, like it works badly, like, okay, I will fix it in 1 hour. You won't do this and you don't know how to fix it before you start doing this, right? That's the reason why I think the technical debt really close to bugs. Of course, you can argue with that. So now you have a backlog full of these things, but you have no way to work with them. So let's try to think how it can be planned. Of course, this is now the right time to answer this question for the William, the developer. And what we can do is to like take all inputs we have. Sure. First of all, we need to think about how not blocking further development and increasing cost of the development. The extra features we shouldn't take, like we shouldn't do more than it is planned. Maybe this is the most important one. Yeah, sure. Partially done work. This is also really cool thing to apply everywhere. Defects, of course, I suppose. Partially done work and extra features may produce more defects. Waiting, right? So maybe we don't want to wait something to fix. Like this is most obvious one. So if technical debt blocks our development, we shouldn't wait. Right? Relearning. Maybe it's not obvious, but yeah, as I said, we shouldn't do anything that we can like postpone and task switching. So if you, yeah, I will say like this is the first thing that you will see. So the method is you will consider only those technical that tasks that influence feature you're about to work on. You won't switch, so you work on this feature, and you shouldn't. You won't take extra tasks. So you just take only thing that you required for the features. Of course, you can play gorilla style and say that, yeah, we need to everything here, like everything is like technical that you to fix. Young Simba. Yeah, but for that case, the only way to establish clear and transparent communication with the customer manager, like you need to believe in things you are saying. And if you try to lie to yourself that everything is required to fix your feature, everything this should be fixed, yeah, that's not good way. They won't trust you, and then they won't give you time to work on that. And before doing this planning, you need to uh, get your hands dirty. So we need to right now you need to go to these components you're about to work on and find only those places you will work on. This is mostly answer for the case that I mentioned before. Why you should do this? Of course, because not always you found everything that you required to fix, but it is much better to know about things before you plan, because otherwise you won't estimate it properly. You may like rely on things like complexity or risks when you do like story points estimation if you do, or other stuff, but you will just rely on your gut feeling unless you come to the right place and understand how much time it will take here or what risks it may involve. That's why groundwork should come before planning. That's where people who like Scrum start crying, because you should do groundwork somewhere in the middle. You understand what you should do, and before you plan. Sounds like you should do it somewhere in the sprint backlog refinement. This is not good time, right? So that's why you need to know priorities a bit before you plan things. But yeah, this is kind of the dark side of the modern agile implementation. Anyway, this is the only way you do not introduce additional wastes like learning your code beforehand, right? To know answer when you plan. And taking technical debt, right? So you now understand what exists here. Of course, you need to take all blocking technical debt, and you need to be honest with you and with your manager that exact this particular technical debt blocks 100%. You cannot, and like they will argue with that, fight with you, but there is no way. Like you always do this, right? So you always include this technical debt into estimation. You will say, okay, I will take it anyway. If you don't like it, I will say like this is not 1 day, this is 4 days, and you have conversation with the software architect and customer and say, no, 3 days to fix this part. Okay, not okay. This is no way to implement it the other way. But this is not. This is actually the answer for William, the developer, or you, the most crucial part. How to make this decision. In risk management, it calls cost-benefit analysis when you understand if it worth to work on the risk or not. Here is working on technical test. Here is answer, the missing part. You have two parts of values, and to fix it, it takes sometimes to some piece of resources spent on technical debt, but the other part is most interesting one. I call it the interest. Uh, it comes from finance, by the way. So this is percent of additional thing you need to pay because you borrowed. We are talking about debt, so you need to pay it. So here is the interest. Interest. Um, it is applicable not just to non-blocking technical debt, because like if you have 3 or 4 places where you need to fix things, like you multiply it and have this additional percent. I would say that somewhere from 0 to 200 additional work. This is fair grade. most of technical debt we consider has to be done is kind of zero, because it doesn't influence our work. It just make us unhappy. But yeah, sometimes you can find like, okay, I'm honest. It's just because I'm happy. Unhappy will be with this. But then you find why it actually blocks you. Like it gives you motivation to understand the technical debt, not just because you have emotion. Like you need to have numbers, not emotions. And you multiply it. Somewhere over 200, it may be, of course, but maybe it's really a blocking thing. And you may simplify to say, don't calculate, guys. Don't multiply is blocking, making things easier. And cost-benefit analysis. Matt, I would say this is the simplest part. That's where every manager breaks, because it seems like managers don't. They really like numbers, but they come from non-mathematical background, and they say, okay, with and without, you need to compare. This is effort with and without. Like we can have it like from this picture, and effort with multiplied by interest and effort with technical debt, which goes to this thing. And it's simple as hell, because you show numbers and there is no way to fight against numbers. They're not people. No emotions, just things to discuss. And maybe there is something that if you think that it's not fair, there is answer, playing Horizon. Why? Most of the time, we have the situation when technical debt is not just a pain for the next iteration. It's like for several weeks in the future, right? And probably like short, middle, long term playing, and that's where the negotiation come. You are not the one who understand about priorities, so you understand about the next sprint, but you have no vision about next iteration and more. That's where your manager can say, okay, we won't work on this. So that's why we shouldn't pay much attention to the technical debt, and this is his call. This is his move. But if he say like, well, yeah, we will work, maybe 2 months later. So let's calculate it. Like 2 months later, sure, this is long term. This is effort for this additional iteration. This is pay. This is cost for you. Again, this is numbers. But of course, this is call for the manager to understand. Okay, we will work on this. Sure, we need to fix technical debt. Or we won't. No, we won't fix. This is also because you are not obliged to like have perfect code. You give the vision about it, but your priorities aligned with the business value. So in short, do groundwork before you do planning. Then discover all technical debt that hasn't found before, collect it, and like only related things, but because you may find a lot of things. Assign blocking and do cost benefit analysis. Show it to the manager, and there is no way he decides. Maybe he decide to ignore it. Sure, this is his money he paid, like, or customer. You try to make it transparent, and one day it become obvious because they will pay more for that. Tips and tricks. The support phase, interesting part where you may face technical debt, but it doesn't fit into a regular approach. Because, as I said, it increases costs, and cost is a direct business value. You may calculate it yourself how much time you spend on this particular issue exists in your solution or supported solution. Then it becomes obvious that you need to fix it. Like they will easily find motivation to fix it if it like really costs them money. Before working on the technical debt, it is most of us doing this thing because we are driving by emotion. Emotion actually from Latin or Greek come emotion, which goes to what drives us, what moves us. We need to analyze it, right? Otherwise, implicit inclusion is inevitable. And implicit inclusion is your enemy or enemy of your trust transparent, clear communication with the customer manager. So if you do this thing, then you just simply ignore priorities from what they say, you need to do. Team may accept technical debt. This is cultural step when you say, okay, I'm okay with having this thing here. And this is something that I fight a lot. I saw lots of many teams that are good, but they do not accept technical debt. So for some reason, or they simply, oh, I don't see it. Oh, let's fix it. This is change because they do not see that this technical debt exists here. It sometimes goes to zero tolerance because like you may spend one day or like few hours to implement something in pull request and then spend 2 weeks just to polish it and remove all technical debt. So it's simply breaking continuous integration principle. This one actually helps you to make it easier. So you may separate technical debt. I name it single responsibility principle. Someone like name it atomic pull requests, whatever. We found that it's much easier to separate technical debt from the changes related to feature. And for sure, don't make things hard for you. If it takes 10 minutes, fix it. If it takes 6 times by 10 minutes for 6 technical debts, maybe you should think about not to fix them, spend it some other time, because there is a lot of time. Managers are not ideal, and your estimation is not ideal as well. So there will be some like gap in the planning where there is time for you to work on technical debts tasks. So that's where you can use the backlog from Jira and take anything that you like, because you have no work to nothing work to work on. It actually works because once you accept technical debt, it means that it's not your fault that teams accept. Then it becomes fun. This is the next step. I saw how it like releases internal tension, like we need to do perfect things, but no, we shouldn't. And this is the way when you clean things, and when you have things cleaned, you like feel happy. Of course, we need to have a refinement from time to time, but we shouldn't pay like every sprint. No, I don't think it's feasible or valuable. Sometimes, like once in 2 months, maybe you can walk through backlog and say, okay, this is not anymore, or this is much more severe right now. Solution. Working on technical debt in pull request. I would say that there is 3 options. If you introduced technical debt, you may be requested to fix it right here in this pull request because you added this, and you maybe don't need to have this in Git, version control, any evidence of that. Or maybe if you're working on a component and technical debt exists near to your changes, it is better to have a follow-up pull request. Or team accept this technical debt, so you add to do, create a Jira ticket, and follow this thing, and you'll fix it one day. If you need to allocate, no, you shouldn't. If you do this, this goes to a weird situation when actually some sprints may be resulted in 80% of working on technical debt, because like there is no way to implement critical feature otherwise. And the other sprint will have only 5% because you are developing new component from the scratch. So if you need exact capacity, team capacity to the technical debt, it means in the first case you won't spend enough time, so you will be blocked and waiting. On the other hand, you will work on low priority things, which is not good. That's where manager don't like you. Analyzing component also is not good thing unless you gonna work on this component. And of course, you shouldn't analyze whole component if you will work on part of it. If you have a fun of like analyzing things, yeah, sure, why not? But you shouldn't play with these things a lot. And mostly just for you to understand what comes, like a work. Decomposing for the half a year sounds like a project. Maybe it has its own business value, and project maybe done by the person who possess right skills, like maybe create some documents, blog, whatever, and communicate with the customer. So you shouldn't do it yourself. Uh, then once business value is defined here, like what you want to achieve. This is like most of developers fail. They understand, okay, I need to do these things, but nobody paying money for that. So they need to decide, and you may help them to understand the scope of work and maybe to understand like what benefits it give. But they will do this work with allocating budget, have deadlines, etc. Of course, when you have the fifth situation, then you have failed somewhere before. Sure, you shouldn't assemble your component because like simply breaks your continuous integration principle. Uh, Otherwise, if you have something to disassemble and it will take more branches, I don't know, lots of different ways to protect your component to be in this state. What is the limitation of this method? First of all, most of the time when the external person is delegated to do this thing is like kind of solution or software architect from the customer side is really bad situation, but anyway, this method is not applicable. Or maybe like some standard processes assign it to technical debt. Yep. It may happen. So this is not got good sign, but anyway, you may try to treat management of the technical debt like accepting it. I don't know, partially. The next thing is when it's huge and require project management. So you shouldn't follow this approach with small tasks, etc. But make analysis of the scope, high level, and benefits. What about KPIs? No, I said that there is no use. Actually, it is in this way that they mostly asked, but it may answer the other thing. If you want to make more precise estimation, I tend to estimate things as there is no problems, no risks, and then have a multiply the specific factor rate to multiply this estimation. So when you have some comparison, how much time you spend in this particular project on working on technical debt, so you can multiply them to understand how much time the rest of the project may take. So for the manager to make adjustments in the deadlines, because they may even accept like you're working on technical debt. They may say, okay, that's fine, and then they see that the pace is not enough. Like the speed of implementation is not enough because they agreed on working on technical debt, and then they realized, okay, it harms deadline and budget. What the hell? So that's why you may say, okay, our team spent this amount of time working on technical debt. Sure, it may help only when you check things, maybe not. But anyway, if you want to have a KPI, this thing helps. If you measure it, and this is how it can help. This is not the last thing that you can learn. I have not just technical debt, but some slides prepared for that. Many things come out related to that. As I said, like lean software development, demo-driven development, how can be done properly, so etc., etc. There is no slides, but some ideas regarding that. So you may expect some of these things happen in the near future. Thank you. And before we go into the question part, let's just simply have this slide for you to memory it. Thank you. Questions? Okay. We have no questions. Then I think we may stop here. Yep. Please come. And it will stay this way for some minutes, maybe more. and you may join, ask questions, etc. Thank you. Короче, здесь это считается такое, что если ты что-то считаешь связано с конкретной задачей, на которую этот цикл, если ты хочешь проработать в будущее чуть-чуть, знаешь, что там работать над понятным, то ты берешь что-то,